Hello and welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. I'm Sibylle and today I'm going to tell you that you're too uncomfortable to leave your comfort zone. You could call this feature Comfort Zone 2 because, as you might remember, some weeks ago I had a feature called Why You Should Stay Within Your Comfort Zone. And you might not remember it, I'm linking it again in the article below. But basically what I argued back then was that it depends on your circumstances whether you should actually leave your comfort zone the way it is recommended by self-help gurus and personal development experts, or whether you should maybe even get more comfortable in your life because there's not enough comfort in your life. And it's this second half that I would like to look at a little more closely and to go deeper on it, because I think it's a very widespread phenomenon that we have so little comfort in our lives, that we are so busy or downright overwhelmed and stressed, that we never feel enough comfort to even consider doing something daring or something that gets us out of a comfort zone. So your mission today is to create a comfort zone that you'll be able to leave. Task number 1 is called What Makes You Uncomfortable? Now, I've talked about the challenges of modern life before, how we just do too many things and completely overwhelm ourselves. But in the end, every life is different. And you need to find out what exactly it is that creates discomfort in your life. So in the following, I'm going to give you a list of a couple of points. Just pick what applies to you and disregard the rest. And there might be things that I'm not mentioning that make you uncomfortable. I'm just trying to get you started to jog your memory a little bit, because your first task is to find out what it is for you personally that creates discomfort in your life and that makes you uncomfortable, and then work on eliminating that. So a couple of points that might make you uncomfortable. The first is sleep. Universal phenomenon. I've seen Facebook memes that say we don't need more sleep. It's one of the most overlooked issues. In fact, studies find out that lack of sleep is absolutely chronic in our society, that hardly anyone gets enough sleep on a regular basis. And it's hard to determine what is enough sleep because it varies from person to person. Anything between 5 and 9 hours is normal. So find out what you need and then radically look after it, or you'll face fairly dire consequences, a lot more serious than we usually think. I'm also linking in the article a TED talk about this that I think every person should see, because it's actually really, really serious. Number 2 is called overwhelmed. So again, I've talked about it a lot, how we overwhelm ourselves with too many appointments, too many chores. We look after other people, we look after ourselves, we work full time, we have all sorts of additional obligations, social or otherwise. It's just getting too much. By the way, what is too much, what constitutes too much, is completely individual. Somebody might manage twice as much as you do, and you're still overwhelmed by your load. So don't say, oh, it's not that much anyway. If it feels too much for you, then that is your limit. You are an individual and you don't have to be like anybody else. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. And if your strength happens to be, or if handling loads of things at the same time happens to not be one of your strengths, that's nothing bad. It's fine. Just accept it, find it out, and radically prune your calendar. Just throw things out, simplify and cut down. Number 3 is called unresolved issues. I'm keeping this fairly broad. This could be anything from unresolved trauma in your life, or mental health problems like depression. I have suffered from depression in the past, and I can tell you that nothing sucks the energy out of your life as much as depression does. I had no energy for absolutely anything. So that can really make it be a huge factor of discomfort. And the other thing is, of course, physical problems. And of course, some people are chronically ill and are in treatment, but it's chronic, so you can't do that much about it. Obviously, and these people are usually, I have to say, these people are usually the ones that are fairly good at making themselves as comfortable as possible, considering their condition. But there's a lot of people who run around with stuff that they never had looked at, and they've just kind of accepted as part of life, and it might be draining. So whether it's mental, so psychological or physical, just look after yourself, make a doctor's appointment, just get yourself looked at and get comfortable in that way. And the fourth possible issue making you uncomfortable, I call lack of being. I've talked about this before as well. You're not a human doing, you're a human being. And our days are filled with doing, to the point where people find it completely impossible to do nothing. A couple of weeks ago, I issued that challenge, and I'm repeating it. I challenge you to do nothing for 15 minutes a day. Just sit down somewhere and or go outside and sit under a tree or inside on your sofa or whatever. Don't look at your phone, don't look at social media, don't look at the TV, don't talk to anyone, don't make any plans. Don't do anything. You can meditate if you want to, you don't have to. It's just important that you're getting out of this constant doing action mode, and it's surprisingly difficult to do this for 15 minutes. Just set yourself an alarm for 15 minutes. It's my challenge to you. Try this for a week and see what it does. Task number 2 is called Get Uncomfortable in the Right Ways. Now, this first task, I'm sure you realize, is an ongoing task. It's basic self-care to make yourself comfortable. And you would do it without blinking an eyelid for a loved one, wouldn't you? You probably do if you have family or kids to look after, or an elderly relative that you look after. So don't you think you yourself are worth the same level of effort? Of course you are. So this is ongoing, and once this is established, this baseline of comfort, that's when you can look into getting uncomfortable in the right ways, as I said. Just look at mental, emotional discomfort that you can create by doing new things. So not discomfort in a bad way, but in a way of it's something new, something unfamiliar. It's not something that you can just rest in because you've known it forever. This is where you try new things or prioritize a passion. Shift the focus in your life from doing and gaining to being and enjoying and pleasure. This is also where you can get coaching. That's what I do with my coaching clients. Or you join a group like a women's group, or even a crafting group or something that's related to your passion. Or you look for a teacher or a mentor, or even people who just share your passion. We grow and we get out of our comfort zone through others, through other people. We learn most about ourselves through our interactions with others. And this is where other people come in. But you can only do this if you first create a baseline of comfort. So you have a comfort zone that you can actually leave, which brings us back to the mission, to today's mission. So your second task is, after you've created the baseline of comfort, to look for healthy ways of getting out of your comfort zone, out of your emotional, mental comfort zone, by challenging yourself to grow in the direction that you want to take your life into. Task number 3 is, as usual, to let me know. Hit the reply button on the email that you got the link to the video with, and let me know where you are going to establish. So it's 2 things. Where are you going to establish more comfort in your life, and how are you planning to leave your comfort zone going forward? I'd love to hear it, and if you write to me, I'll reply, I promise. If you didn't get the link to the video in an email, that means you're not part of the Wild Spirits community yet, and you should join us. Go to wildspiritscoaching.com and fill in the little form there. You can also do the free life audit on that page. If you fill out the form at the end of the life audit, one of the things this does is subscribe to Wild Spirits News. It's 1 email per week, 100% spam free. You get lots of additional information and articles, recommendations of books and other resources, and sometimes you get exclusive offers that are only for my subscribers that nobody else ever gets to see. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up. You can also Google Wild Spirits Coaching. That'll get you to my website as well. Thank you for watching.